Pastor Peter Watson. I'm here at Illawarra Church of Christ, and I want to take a few minutes just to explain to you the philosophy we have around discipleship. Discipleship is helping people grow as healthy followers of Jesus. We want people to really experience that and to be able to share that with others. And so we talk about what is called BAM, that is different levels in which you can grow in your relationship as a disciple. The first level is to be a disciple. That is to learn the basics of what it means to follow Jesus, to learn to have a relationship with him, to learn how to hear from him, to learn the way that God has wired you, to learn the ways of hearing his voice and being obedient to him. And so we use a very simple resource called Experiencing God by Henry Blackably. It's not the only book out there, it's maybe not even the best one out there, but it is the one that we've decided to use. And I think it is a profound book, talking about what it means to follow Jesus and be a disciple of Jesus. So we encourage you to read through this book very slowly, to take a number of months, maybe up to a year, reading through the book, and as part of that reading you have some conversations with somebody who's been walking with Jesus a little bit further. And so you talk through what the implication of each of the chapters of the book are. It's not just about getting knowledge into your head, it's about getting knowledge into your heart. How do you live out? And so you talk through how to live the 7 realities of experiencing Jesus that are described here in this diagram. So the idea that God is always working around you. The idea that God is pursuing a relationship with you that is very personal. The idea that God is involved and that He's inviting you to come and join Him. You're not taking God. God is already out there at work in the world, and you are discovering where God is working and joining with Him in His work. You're learning how to hear from God via the Bible, through circumstances, through prayer, through the church, through other people in the church. So how do you hear from God? You're hearing about the fact that God challenges us, and so there's going to be a crisis of faith at some point. And what are you going to do when you hear God speak and ask you to do something? What are you going to respond in that moment of crisis? And so then you learn to adjust your life. You learn to be a disciple walking in the footsteps of Jesus. And then you experience that obedience and walking with God. We want to teach you how to do that. So the first level is to be a disciple, and we use this resource, Experiencing God. The second level is to add a disciple. That is, once you've worked through the book with somebody, you find somebody that you can take through the book as well. And so you become their mentor through the book. So you are adding a disciple by walking with them through it. Now, you will experience the book in a completely new way when you're meeting with somebody else and you're talking to them through the book, and they're asking you questions and you're working it through and you're praying for them. So you're going to add a disciple. And then the third level is that once you've worked with somebody to get through the book, you help them to find somebody who they can help go through the book. So you are going to multiply your ability. In 2 Timothy 2 verse 2 it says to teach those who teach those who teach others. That is, we multiply to 3 levels. And again, you're going to grow in a different way when you're meeting occasionally with somebody who is teaching somebody through the book, Experiencing God by Henry Blackably. So they are the 3 levels. That's going to take a fair while to get through that, but you're going to experience a completely different relationship in your relationship with God, your relationship with others, with the church, with fellow Christians, as you become a BAM disciple. So firstly, it's be a disciple, work through the book. Secondly, it's add, find somebody you can take through the book and help them. Thirdly, it's multiply, help them to find somebody who can work through the book. BAM disciples are really growing as healthy disciples in Jesus.